So as you can tell from the title, today's video is an updated designer bag collection video, and it's one that has been overdue for quite some time now. The last one that I did, I think, was about 2, maybe 3 years ago. So, you know, a lot has changed since then. I've added a lot more bags to my collection. But not only that, I thought this video in particular, it might be better just to focus in on the higher tier, so to speak, brands. Whereas the other ones, some of them I don't have with me, don't really use that much. And you can actually find them in the previous video, which I'll link down below. So I wanted to use this video to update you guys on what is new in the collection, what I've been using the most, and show how my taste has evolved over the years. I'm going to get straight into it alphabetically, and I'm going to start with A, which I have only one bag of, and it is in this box here, and it's an Alexander McQueen, as you may be able to tell from the embossing. And this bag is my only real evening type bag. You will be able to tell straight away why that is, because it's this amazing silver mock snake skin, or python skin actually, clutch bag with their signature knuckle duster detail. I think it goes this way. And then once you open it, you just have a very simple no frills interior. It's leather lined, and you might be able to fit a few of your essentials in there, but apart from that, you know, there's no pockets or anything, so it's just an empty cavern. So this bag I bought online on their website many years ago. I want to say like 3 years ago. I bought it for around 850 or 900 pounds. I actually bought it for an evening event. The intent was just to wear it for that event, but then I realized actually I could wear this for a lot more occasions. So at Christmas last year and New Year's, I wore this bag, and I think it's just my special occasion bag. Obviously, from the size, you can tell it doesn't fit that much inside. In fact, you cannot fit an iPhone 11 Pro, which is the phone that I have, Pro Max rather, because I think the Pro may be able to fit. My old iPhone 8, I think it is, the normal size, can actually fit in here. Otherwise, you know, my phone's always attached to my hand anyway, so I usually would carry it or have someone put it in their pocket, which is a little bit annoying and almost defeats the purpose of this bag. But I think for an evening event, if you're not moving around, then I think you'd be okay. But this one I think is so unique. I've never seen anything like this again, and I got it for such a good price. I feel like the box knuckle duster clutches these days are almost £2,000, which is extortionate. And so I'm very pleased that I managed to get this for such a low price when I did. Next up in the bag collection alphabetically is Chanel bags. And in the Chanel collection, I believe I have 5 bags to show you. So I'm going to start off with the Chanel bag that may have arguably kicked off my whole love for handbags, and indeed Chanel. And it is this vintage Chanel crossbody bag. And this bag is one that got passed down to me by my mum, which I'm very, very grateful for. It's a very simple bag on the inside. Some of you may have seen this multiple times that I've shown it. This bag is probably about 20 years old. I believe it even has the real gold on the chain. Admittedly, I've not used it that much ever since, because I have loads of other bags in my collection to use. But when I did have this given to me initially, this was my go-to every single day, and this has never done me wrong. It's really, really durable, despite the fact that it's 20 years old and there's no signs of wear or tear on it. There's a little bit of hardware discoloration here over time, but nothing major that you can actually spot from a mile away. So this is a very sentimental bag to me for obvious reasons. Moving along then to the next bag that I got chronologically from Chanel, and it is the iconic Chanel boy bag, which you may have seen many times already, not just from me, but from lots of other YouTubers or content creators. I'm sure this is one of those sort of basic bags, so to speak, that was very, very trendy for the last few years, and still is actually, which is great news for me, because that means it's not dated when I still wear this out. This bag is the Chanel boy bag in patent leather in the new medium size, so it's quite a big one. And I really do love the size. I think it's very comparable to the Chanel classic flap in jumbo. and it's very roomy and spacious inside, and it fits a ton inside. I've just got some air paper in there, and I bought this 3 or 4 years ago at Heathrow, which I talk about a lot, as you may know if you've been watching a while, and it was about 2,700 at the time of purchase. Has since skyrocketed at least $1,000 more, and this was a momentous purchase for me at the time because it was my first Chanel bag that I bought myself. At the time, I remember buying, you know, my Alexander McQueen and things for the 900s. It didn't even hit the 1,000 mark. So this one was a big jump for me. I'm pleased I did make it at the time though, given price increases nowadays. And also because it's a very, very timeless style and color as well. It goes with absolutely everything. I've been taking it out a lot more recently because I haven't really been showing it much love in the past. I do have a small pet peeve with the strap here. It keeps falling off my shoulder, but when it's crossbody, there's no problems at all, and it fits an absolute ton in, so I do want to make sure that I get more wear out of it. So shortly after I purchased the Chanel boy bag, I added this little cutie to my collection, and this is the highly sought after iridescent Chanel mini. And I remember iridescents were all the rage a couple of years ago. You could not go on any Instagram page for bags without seeing an iridescent mini. And this one is such a beautiful shade. It's like a pinky purple, and it changes in the light, which I absolutely love. And this one is a purchase that I got at Heathrow for £1,900 2 or 3 years ago now. It pairs so nicely with a lot of my more feminine dresses. And I also love the fact that while it's pink, it's got this really cool crumpled sort of almost like oil slick detail on the leather. It's calfskin leather, and so it removes that whole super girly look, which is kind of nice too. I must admit, it's not the bag that I've worn the most, but this one I think in summertime it's just the perfect going out bag, and I always get a ton of compliments on it. Such a unique colour, and I was so fortunate to be able to get it at such a low price. I feel like it's so rare to get Chanel bags that are under £2,000 nowadays, so I'm very happy to have this little baby in my collection. So I have 2 more bags to show you in the Chanel part of this designer handbag collection, and the first of the 2 that I will show you is one that I got for my birthday last year, and it's probably the most used out of all the bags currently. So it's this cute Chanel Business Affinity bag in the medium size, quilted leather, in this beautiful like dove grey. I absolutely love the colour of this. I've always wanted a grey bag and a top handle one, and this just fit the bill obviously perfectly. I think it's a great size. It fits so much in. It's really nice and squishy to hold as well. It's really satisfying, but it doesn't scuff and it doesn't warp the shape. It's got tons of room inside. It's got even the crossbody strap here. This one was, I think, around £2,700 at London Heathrow. It's also way more inexpensive compared to the other more classic styles. I mean, even this compared to the boy bag, I actually prefer this one in terms of functionality and look, and it probably almost fits the same because this has got more pockets on the outside, whereas this is just more of a cavern inside. I've been wearing it non-stop for the last almost year, and it's just such a practical bag to have. I think it's just a timeless classic that will be a staple in Chanel's collections to come, so I'm quite pleased that I managed to get this before any further price increases. And then the final bag in the Chanel part of the collection is my most recent purchase, and it is this amazing Chanel Coco Handle in the chevron caviar leather, and it's in the medium size. And it's interesting whenever I say the sizes of my Chanel bags because they're all basically medium, and yet the mediums vary so massively. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Yeah, there we go. So these are all medium. This one's new medium, but you know, you can see the scale is quite similar, and this one is by far the biggest of the lot. And yet, funnily enough, the most inexpensive of those three at the moment. So this bag was £2,600. I bought it tax-free from Heathrow, of course, and it was the last one there. So this bag fits the void in my collection thus far, which was the neutral bag that I've always been missing, and I love the top handle of it. It's a very ladylike, classy bag. It was honestly a toss-up between this or the, what's it called? The Chanel Trendy, which is very, very similar, and yet the Trendy is almost £1,000 more than this, which I don't really understand. I much prefer the look of this one and the size, etc., and the price point, obviously. But I was really looking for something that would fit a lot more in, was another neutral shade. I have a lot of black in my collection already, so I wanted something that was a bit different. And I really like the chevron look, actually. Which is something that I haven't had in my collection as of yet. And originally, I'm not gonna lie, this beige colour wasn't on my mind. I'd originally wanted a white version, and I've talked about it a couple of times already, but I'm so happy that I did go for the beige in the end. I mean, it was the only one available at the time, but it really warmed on me as soon as I saw it. It's the perfect shade to avoid also scuffing as well. I'm looking at it now, there's literally no signs of wear, and I've been wearing this, I want to say, like, weekly. It's just a beautiful addition to my collection. So that's all the Chanel bags that I have. I'm now going to move on to the other C bag that I have in the collection, and it is this Chloe Faye bag, which also 3 or 4 years ago was all the rage. I feel like it's since died down. You don't see or hear about it anymore. They've since had many other hype bags or it bags hit the stores. I think there was one with the just classic C, the mini C. But I remember a time where this Faye bag was absolutely everywhere. You could not scroll on Instagram without seeing some it girl wearing this bag. And I must admit, it was probably more of an impulse purchase at the time. I want to say that this was actually the first, chronologically speaking, the first high ticket designer bag purchase that I made, and I bought this for £1,200 on Farfetch at the time, and I loved this unique colorway and the crumpled sort of almost like mock croc leather that it has. It was the only bag of the Faye collection that I believe was leather on the top and the bottom. I believe a lot of them were suede on the bottom, which a lot of people I think complained about because it would scuff in like the rain and it would pick up any marks that you got on suede. Suede's notoriously hard to clean, so I was really drawn to the fact that it was all leather all the way around. And I also just loved the deep red or burgundy colour. I think it's so special, and I also wanted a little bit of a pop of colour in my wardrobe because I don't really have bags that are, you know, bright or anything. And red is my favourite colour. I don't wear it an awful lot, but I thought this darker burgundy red would be a really nice way of adding a little bit of colour into my wardrobe. Recently, I've been wearing it a lot more than I used to. In fact, you can actually see signs of, I think what you could say is water damage or just wear and tear from rubbing and stuff. The clasp here has since made little red indentations in the leather, but I'm not mad at it because it shows that I'm using and loving my bags, which can only ever be a good thing. There's so much space in here, and I've also got random things like hand wash and snack bars. This was my work bag for the longest time. Whenever I go traveling on work trips, I always bring this one because I love the sort of concertina bottom. It stands really nicely on tables as well, and it also fits super flat when you pack it in your hand luggage, just in case you want to bring another bag as well. So that's always a big plus. This strap is also quite handy to wear, not just over the shoulder, but I feel like I can sometimes get away with putting it crossbody, and it looks a bit high, but for safety reasons, I think it's not too bad at all. I've been giving it a lot more love recently. I must admit, for about 2 years, I didn't wear it like at all. I was busy with my other bags, wearing those and rotating those. But as of late, it's been a bag that I found to be very carefree and fits so much stuff in. It can sometimes get a little bit heavy because this chain detail is kind of heavy, but honestly, that's a very small gripe on the face of it, and considering the brand and the price that I paid for it and how often I use it and how much it fits, I think it actually turned out to be quite a worthwhile purchase in the end, because there was a moment in time where I was dithering about whether to sell it. But I never buy any of my items with the intention to sell, so if I can make them work for my lifestyle, I'll usually do that, and so far, so good. Next up in the collection is a bag that begins with D, and there's only one brand that I can think of that does begin with D, and it is Dolce and Gabbana. And this bag is an interesting patterned bag, which I realise now I don't really have patterned bags, especially with such a bold, flashy print. But this is the, I believe, Majolica print. I think that's what they called it. It's one of their iconic sort of kitchen tiles types of print, and this bag I actually have in the dress versions as well. They all have a very similar print, so it's kind of funny. I'll wear the dresses and I'll wear this, and I just blend in. So this is actually a wallet on chain. It's really durable and scratch resistant. Inside, it's quite roomy for a wallet on chain. It's got card compartments, also a detachable crossbody strap, which is cool. And this one is a bag that my mum got me from the outlet mall, I believe in China, and it was probably £200 or £300, so a real bargain actually, all things considered. It's honestly not a bag that I would have bought myself, but I think given the price, I can't complain too much, can I? And it does add a really nice pop of colour. It's a really nice summer bag to have, so I look forward to bringing that out hopefully in the summer. And this is the only wallet on chain that I do have in my collection, so in that respect it's filled a very good niche. Next we're going on to a bag that begins with a G, and that is Givenchy. And I only have one bag from Givenchy, and it is the iconic Givenchy Antigona bag. And this is in the patent like beige leather, and it's in the size small. And I love how this is the size small, and yet when you compare the bag to, say, the Chanel medium, it's still bigger than that, so that's quite fun. And this bag I got from Bicester Village for an amazing £900 that I paid for, which is awesome given how much bag you get for your money and how durable it is. And I bought this about 4 years ago, I think. I'm getting all my timelines mixed up. They were all sort of in quick succession, the way I bought all these bags. I bought it within 10 minutes of being in the store. I knew exactly what I wanted. I'd called up beforehand to try and find this bag. I'd seen it online, and it was basically almost being discontinued until I got in there quick before they sold out of it in Bicester. And I think this retailed at the time for like 1,500. I believe nowadays it's probably going to be 2,000. So they're doing not too bad actually in terms of continuity all these years that it's been, you know, quote unquote trendy. I feel like the staying power of this Antigona bag has been a lot better than the Chloe Faye, for example, which has since, I feel, fizzled off the face of the earth. But this one, I feel like I still see this out and about. They have since updated the models because this one doesn't have a detachable shoulder strap, which can be a pet peeve sometimes. But overall, this is a great bag to have if you're looking for more of a mid-tier designer bag. I would highly recommend it. It is a little bit heavy though, but you know, that being said, it fits so much inside, especially given the price, etc. The quality is amazing. It's just a massive cavern inside. I managed to fit so much, and it's also a really smart, classy looking bag. This is a bag I also get a lot of compliments on because the colour is also stunning. I think it looks absolutely amazing in this patent finish, and it's so carefree. It's just so wipe clean. I've managed to buff out marks before and coloration, and it's just a really nice bag that you just don't have to worry about. It's so durable, which I love. So that's my Givenchy Antigona. Alright, so I think we're halfway through the collection right now, and we are also halfway through the alphabet, I guess, of bags that I have, and we're at L, and that's for Louis Vuitton, and we only have one bag from LV, and it is in this humongous Santa sack here, which I've actually tried to fit my body in, no lie. Just didn't quite fit how I thought. Didn't quite fit how I thought I would inside the sack, but just to illustrate how big it is, you could literally put all your Christmas shopping in there. The bag is the also iconic LV Keepall Bandouliere in size 45, which is 45 centimeters across here. This bag is very misshapen at the moment, so this is me trying to show you what it actually looks like. And this is the ideal travel companion for all of my international jet-setting journeys. And this bag I got 2 years ago, I believe, and I bought it for around £900, which for a travel bag like this, I realise is quite hefty, and I realised that you can get many other options that are not this expensive and probably more durable and have compartments inside. This only has one pocket, which actually, given all of the Keepalls, is a bonus because some of the other ones don't have pockets at all. I know some people use it as a gym bag. I do not understand that. I don't think I'd, even with all the money in the world, I don't think I'd ever think to put this, to put gym things in this bag. I don't know. To each their own, but not for me. But this is just something really, really smart, and I guess it's quite boss lady. There's just something really cool about this bag. And I know this is a man's bag actually, because this is the monogram Eclipse, I believe, that is in the men's collection. But I personally didn't like any of the damier prints that are classic. I also don't like the patina on the leather handles. I don't like the whole fact that it changes colour. Again, to each their own, but for me this one was just a little bit more understated as well, because the LV print is a little bit more muted compared to the other ones in the classic prints. And I wear a lot of black and I wear a lot of silver, so the hardware and the colour matched perfectly with my soul, and I'm very pleased with this purchase. I've used it a lot. I probably need some sort of bag shaper or you know, one of those bag inserts. I don't know if they make them for a bag this big, but that might not be the worst option for me. But even without having bag shapers or anything like that, I feel like it still fits a ton. It doesn't misshape the bag or anything like that. It's so squishy, but also really, really durable. But the fact that it has the strap option is really handy. This part of the strap is a godsend for your arms and your shoulders. So this is my one and only travel bag. Next up, we have two bags which are in the M part of the alphabet, and the first one that I will show you is a brand that you may not have heard of before unless you have watched my previous videos. And this brand is a German brand, and I believe they recently, in the last couple of years, came up a little bit more in terms of public awareness. But the brand is Marina Hoermanseder, which I feel like I butcher every time that I say it. But it is this really cute Hello Kitty backpack, and I got this commissioned for me 4 years ago. They did a collaboration with Hello Kitty, and I love Hello Kitty a lot. As a grown woman, I still do. But I remember seeing this bag actually on one of the models years ago and scrolling through, and it was maybe 2 months after they'd released it at the time, and they weren't making it anymore, but I'd written an email to the team and they said that they could make it for me. And that was when they were still a lot smaller, so I'm not sure if that's still an option these days. But I was sort of doing the whole creative process with them, doing the sizes. I changed some of the colours as well, so I changed the backstrap colours to be pink instead of what I believe was like the hot pink, and came up with this. And this was about £900 after converting from euros, I think. And it fits so much stuff on the inside. I think it would probably fit a skinny laptop as well. I actually used this bag a lot when I was traveling around Asia, and you can imagine a lot of the people there absolutely loved my bag because Hello Kitty out there is way, way bigger than it is here. All the kids loved it as well. But, you know, I cannot lie, it's more a piece of art than something that I wear too often, especially given like the colorations of when you open and close this flap. I feel like there's a little dint here and it's giving Hello Kitty a mouth, which is kind of weird looking. And and I'm very mindful of colour transfer. I've had jeans rubbing on the back of it before, so I have to always buff it out really, really quickly. But all things considered, I think this is a really, really lovely and unique bag to my collection. And it might be one of the very few that are in existence in the world, which is really nice to know, I guess. There's just something a little bit different to the usual designer handbag collection. And the other bag that begins with M that I have to show you is the MCM Stark backpack. And there's actually still so much stuff in here. I always find so much stuff in my bags that are sort of like a gold mine. It's a real treat. So I found these like handy wipes, antibacterial wipes, which is awesome given current things happening around in the world. I could do with more wipes. So yeah, love finding stuff that I thought I didn't have. Anyway, so let me make this a little bit more presentable. So this is the Stark backpack in size small in their iconic MCM monogram. And I think this goes actually really nicely with my LV Keepall. They're both like cut from the same cloth, so to speak. This is in a really nice supple leather. It's really squishy, but so scratch resistant and durable. This is a bag that my mum got me from Korea. They are a Korean brand, I think. I think they were German, but acquired by a Korean brand. And I think it was a really good price. I think it was about £400 or £500 equivalent after tax back. And it's just a really nice going out traveling kind of bag. It's not quite big enough to wear to work because I have a laptop. I'm still yet to find a nice designer bag that I can put my laptop in. But having said that, when I'm just out and about traveling, I usually bring this with me because it's just so carefree. You can squish it really flat down into your luggage and you can fit a ton of stuff in there. It keeps everything so organized and it looks really smart as well. Okay, so we now have the final bag in the high-end designer bag collection, and it begins with P, and it is a Prada bag, and it is the very coveted Prada Cahier bag in the astrology design. And this was so big a couple of years ago, and I don't want to give the impression that I'm just buying into trends. Absolutely not. I think a lot of these have a lot of staying power if I was to ever need to resell these. But this particular bag, I remember, really took the world by storm. I've got the velvet version, but I know they have the sort of matte leather versions as well, which are also quite popular. And this one I got from Harrods, actually. It was like the last one there, or one of the last two that were there at the time. So I was really lucky to get my hands on it. It was about £1,500. Quite a good price point, all things considered, for a high-end designer bag. I mean, it's very simple on the inside, I must admit. It's got stuffing inside at the moment. It doesn't fit an awful lot. I believe it can just about fit your iPhone Pro if you've got the big one. You know, you won't be carrying this to go around and do your daily errands, that's for sure. But if you're just going out for a meal or you're going out for the night and you just carry your bare essentials, then this is perfect. And this is like a really nice clutch bag too, because this strap can be detachable. So it's like a 2-in-1 almost. And I think it's such a nice conversation piece as well. Another bag that I always get compliments on, actually. And it's such a nice statement bag to have. It's a really nice twist on a typical black bag. And I'm really into this sort of astrology look. I was instantly drawn to this as soon as I saw it online. They've since made several iterations since then. And they're like the chunky ones with almost like the concertina bottom, similar to the Faye look. Which I'm not too big of a fan on. I do like the look of them, but I much prefer this one. It's really carefree as well, despite the fact that it's velvet. There's no scuffing or anything on it. It looks basically like it hasn't been worn before. Okay, so that's everything in the updated designer handbag haul. Hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, it's not an exhaustive video of every single bag that I have. I have plenty more, but this video would be way too long and probably not as interesting. So if there's any bags in particular that you want me to talk a little bit more on, let me know. And if there's any bags that you think I should add to my collection in the near future, also let me know below. So that's everything. I'm gonna go and tidy up this bomb site that has accumulated now in front of me, and I will catch you in my next video.